Hello, Liberty students. We are excited to start this new endeavor into online learning with you. It's a whole new world for us and a whole new world for you. So thanks for your patience and your grace as we kind of work our way through this and try to figure out ways to connect with you guys around learning. We're really grateful for Zoom and this opportunity to connect with you guys and be able to see you and hopefully you see us and get some familiarity back into our days and processes as we try to hold school in an off-site location and try to continue with things we've learned this school year. With this app and this whole new type of learning comes a lot of responsibility. We're going to be really getting in there. Having a video communication is something new for a lot of people. And the responsibility piece lies with making sure we're being respectful in these spaces, responsible in these spaces, showing that liberty pride that we talk so much about at school. That's going to carry its way right into this platform. We want to be positive, we want to be respectful individuals who demonstrate excellence. And so as you're going through this, we have a lot of norms we're going to talk about today, things that we want to do consistently throughout our school that's moving online, so that way everybody feels safe and respected in this online space. And so, yeah, we'll talk about some things today. We also want to make sure that as we do these Zoom chats, there's not any screenshots being taken and posted anywhere. We want to respect each other's privacy, and that's super important in order for us to be able to utilize this platform. And so please make sure you're respecting each other's spaces and finding this as a way to connect with one another and connect with your learning. And hopefully, collectively, we can have a great experience if we all do just that. Thank you guys so much. All right, welcome. We are going to be doing a process for joining a meeting here on Zoom. I'm going to walk you through all the steps you may have to go to. When a teacher pushes you a meeting, they're probably going to include a link in that that'll take you closer to the meeting than this step right here, but I want to show you this step in case you ever need to do it. So if you go to zoom.us, up here in the right-hand corner, it says join a meeting. If you hit that button, it's going to take you to this screen right here. Your teacher should provide to you a meeting ID code. That code can be popped in here. So for my meeting, I've got it right here, 78564. Once I've identified which meeting I'm going to be in, it's going to bring up this screen where it's saying it's trying to launch, but it wants to know if you already have the app or some other troubleshooting options. For your Chromebook, this is key. You are all going to see this screen from your Chrome browser, and the link you need to hit is actually the smallest one here. It says if you cannot download or run the application, join from your browser, and you can click on that. We need you to click on that to take you to the Zoom meeting. And so the smallest font right here is the one you need to click. It then asks you for a meeting password. Not all of your meetings will have passwords. This one happens to. I wanted you to see what it looked like in case that ever popped up. That should also be provided in the post your teacher has given you or an email they have sent you. All right, so after I've done that, now it's going to prompt us into the meeting itself. Every time you come into a meeting, it's going to ask you to join audio by computer or by phone call. You're going to want to join by computer. So go ahead and click that button. When you do that, we now move into the next phase. So now we're going to start talking about audio and video. All right, so what we're looking at first off is when you join a meeting, you have options as far as your microphone and video go. First off, you'll see down here in the left-hand corner, you have your start video and your microphone going. Right now, as I went into this chat, they were disabled, and so they were not being used. In both of those, for video first, if you want your video to be on, go ahead, just click that button. Your video will be on. You'll see yourself up in the top right-hand corner. There's not a requirement that you have your video on. I'm just going to go ahead and keep it off since we already have a video of me going in the corner of the screen. The microphone button. If you go into a meeting of 10 or more people, one norm we want established is that there should not be any microphones on unless you are talking. What that does is cuts out all the background noise that we might encounter throughout the session. So if you come in, it oftentimes is on. Please make sure you mute it, or your teacher might mute it as well. Once you toggle this if that's the last thing you've touched, your keyboard can then control it. And so you could use your space bar to unmute yourself and to mute yourself. If you're in the desktop version, so if you have downloaded the app, you just hold the space bar down. But if you are in the web-based app, you have to just toggle it back and forth by pressing spacebar and releasing spacebar. If you have the video last touched, then the spacebar is going to manage that for you. All right, so that is our first norm. Your mic should be off if you are in a chat of 10 or more, unless you are talking. All right, so we want to talk about the second norm that we have for these big group gatherings, and that has to do with how you can interact non-verbally with your teacher to let them know you have something to share, or that you get something, or you're not sure of something. And so over here where you see participants, you're going to click on that. It brings over this sidebar. I'll move my picture out of the way for now. It brings over this sidebar. What this sidebar allows you to do is 5 different things, and then there's actually some more over here as well, but 5 things pop up. One is raise your hand. That is going to be the most essential one you have. If your teacher is talking in class and you have something to share, you're going to go ahead and raise your hand. Your teacher will call on you to go ahead and share what it is you have to share. So just wait for them to do that, and they'll come through and they'll unmute you and let you know that it's your turn to share. Also, your teacher might ask questions of, hey, were you guys able to do X, Y, or Z the night before? You can say yes or no, and what will happen on their screen is they'll have the whole class list over here, and they'll see how many people answered yes and how many people answered no. If your teacher is going through things too quickly, like I might be doing right now, you might tell them to go slower. Or if you really understand what they're saying, you might ask them to go faster. The other things over here are if your teacher asks for, hey, thumbs up, who did this, or thumbs down, who didn't. If you really appreciate something that's happening in class, you can give a round of applause. Or if you are saying that you need to take a break, there's a little coffee cup right here that suggests that, hey, I think I need a break here. Maybe we need to take a little pause in class. And so these are ways that you non-verbally communicate. And when you are in that big group setting of 10 or more people, we're going to ask that you always try to communicate in this way with your teacher. If you have something that you need to share verbally, you raise your hand, and that's the cue for the teacher to go ahead and call on you. All right? So if you have questions, if you want to respond to something, use this feature, which is under the Participants tab here at the bottom. All right, so this next feature we are going to be talking about is going to be the chat feature and our norms established for that. And so within the chat feature, you're often going to see that all that's accessible to you is everyone on your chat. If there's a specific chat open where you could chat privately with other people, we're going to ask that you do not do that during these sessions. That probably will be set up by your teachers beforehand. But some norms for this chat over here. This chat, you need to view as the same thing that would be talking out to the entire class, raising your hand and sharing, right? The topics and things you talk about in this chat piece need to be on topic and not distracting from the class environment. Because if all of a sudden everybody is diverting their attention over to the chat feature, they're not paying attention with what's happening in the classroom. And so this isn't a place to go, hey, how's it going? How are you? Unless your teacher has asked you to do so. This is a place where you could ask questions and get some clarification on things. It's not a place to socialize. There will be structured ways that your teacher will have for you guys to socialize. There will also be some classes you might go into, and there's not a chat feature here at all. And so there'll be a gamut of things for those groups of 10 or more. But just know that anything you put on the chat feature, you need to have that filter of, is this going to distract or help class? And we want to only put things that are going to be helpful for class in that chat feature. All right, thank you guys. All right, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is our protocol and our norms for our video. So on video, when we have a whole class here, you can go into a gallery view. I can't do that right now because I just have 2 people in this chat, but up here you'll see a part where it lets you go into a gallery view of everybody, which means that you will be able to see everybody who has their video on in class. With that in mind, 2 things. We want to make sure that you are not being distracting yourself with this feature. And so we know it's really tempting to make goofy faces and to do things that are going to get your friends' attention. We're going to ask that you not use the video to do that because, again, we want that focus to be on learning. And the second thing is yes, you have the ability to change your background or physically change it in your own background on the app. And so either of those things should not be distracting from class. And so if they are, your teacher might silence your video or mute your video, and then have a conversation with you later. So please just try to do things that are going to help with productivity in class and not take away from the attention of others. All right, we appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.